All right. If you joined us, or I mean, sorry, if you didn't join us earlier, it's because Dominique Davis got stuck in the airport, so we weren't able to do the USFL interview that was supposed to precede this. But that's all right because we got Josh Davis here tonight, who is going to knock you guys out of the park with all of his entire career because it is intense to see all the different teams he's played for and all the different leagues he's played for. But anyways, Josh is an offensive tackle for your AWFC champions, the Tri-City Rush. The Rush just completed an undefeated season and a two-season stretch that saw them lose just two games. I think they went 19-2, if I'm not mistaken. How are you doing tonight, Josh?
Oh man, I'm blessed. Just blessed to be here, and I appreciate what you're doing right now, putting our name out there. It's a blessing.
Absolutely, man. I'm happy to do it. I mean, after the run you guys have had, there should be way more media outlets talking about it.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. And I mean, our name is already out there. I mean, we knew it was going to be different from everybody else, so I'm proud to be on here.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. So before we start, what would you prefer that I call you? Is it Joshua, Josh, or Chef?
And you can call me whatever. I mean, the chef is that got weight on it. The Pancake Chef is probably one of the special names I got out the IFL. So you call me the chef or you call me JD, Josh, wherever you feel comfortable with.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if you preferred Joshua or Josh mainly, but I had to throw the chef in there anyway. But
That's fine.
so speaking of chef, you we kind of talked off screen. You have a clothing line associated with Pancake Chef, Eric, correct?
Oh yeah, I had a little. It was not a real clothing line. It's a, I did a camp pretty much. I do camps and I help kids elevate their game. And the first camp I did, I had over 200 kids, and that was something special to me. And that's how I knew my name hold weight. And I knew there was something special about this name that I got from the IFL. Uh, Big up to my boy Samuel Charles, Mr. Gimme That from the IFL. He's the one that helped me, get that name out there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So before we get started, why don't you do like a brief introduction in your own words, and then we'll kind of get into detail as we go.
Oh man, see, two-time champ here, for Tri-City Rush. Uh, Back-to-back captain for the Rush. I'm more pleased of helping, lead this team to two championships. Put the foundation down with Tri City Rush. I tell everybody, I got a little something to do with it. Did my little blocking here and there. What I'm saying, for the team, and that's who I am. I rather lead the troops and do whatever it takes to help win, championships. Uh, I've been to three pro championships. All back to back. My first one was in Mexico City. Uh, that was the game I will never forget. That's what pretty much led me to getting two championships with the Rush. I told myself I'm never going to lose a championship once I get into the championship, and it's been going good so far.
Absolutely, absolutely. So at what age did you start playing football, and have you always played offensive line?
Uh, yeah and no. I mean, I always thought I was a D lineman. You know, uh, People that know me, I'm always a jokester. I always call myself a skill player. So it's typical lineman stuff. I always thought I was going to be a safety or a running back or something crazy like that. But I always been a lineman. From high school, I started playing in junior high. Then that's when I found out I was pretty decent. Like I get to hit people without getting in trouble. Uh, yeah, when I got to college, College of Siskiyous in California, Coach Frizz, he said, "You're strictly an offensive lineman now. No matter what." Like he struck fear in me to be offensive lineman, and I remember to this day, you know, offensive lineman or nothing. And ever since then, I've been playing offensive line. He helped me be a center. So coming into pros, that's all I was, a center, until I came to the Rush. The first time playing offensive tackle, and I knew I could play offensive tackle in this league. Um, yeah, just being an offensive lineman is pretty. We don't get the glory, but they're gonna know who I am.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, you definitely stick out. I mean, you're a personality that I don't think can be silenced. That's for sure. So for our fans that might not know, from your unique perspective, why don't you give us a quick breakdown on the differences between the AWFC and the IFL, where you actually got your start?
The IFL, man, it was just different in every aspect. The way that they literally helped us get our names out there, like our brands, and the way that the IFL, just the competition in the IFL is crazy. My first game in the IFL, I will never forget it. I was playing against it. It's on my highlight. I was playing against Colorado Ice. Um, they broadcast some nose guard coming out of Denver Bronco camp. You know, you know how leagues do it. You come from the NFL, they're going to broadcast you anyway. Kind of strike fear in everybody else. But I was so excited to play that guy. You know what I'm saying? And I was mad I didn't get to start that game, but I knew I was going to get my hands on him some way somehow. But when I got there, I played the second quarter, got my first pancake on him, and that's where the chef came in. That's where the Pancake Chef first came in the IFL. And the IFL is something different than, don't get me wrong, the AWFC is still a startup, you know what I'm saying? That's where you get your foot in the door and try to get out, and that's something that I'm trying to do with the guys on our team and get them to the next level. Get their film and get up out of here. Don't stay. If you're going to stay, then that means there's reasonings. Like the guys that came back this year, the core guys like Zeus, Manny, Marco, Dede, Twan, all these guys, the core that came back this year, it was a purpose. We wanted that back to back. We wanted to make history. And that was the difference between, the IFL and here. Yeah, the competition is different, but then we want to make a foundation here. We want to, you know, do something different, try to be different, try to, get the league notice, get us notice, and I feel like we did that the past 2 years, and I'm just proud to say, you know, I did that. I got my fingerprints on it. So, yeah.
I would agree. I would agree. That's definitely something to add to the resume. That's for sure. So you spent some time with the IFL's Wyoming Cavalry. One of the things that I've heard over my time doing this is that in the IFL, it can kind of be hit or miss. Like some franchises are really good with how they take care of their players. Some franchises don't necessarily have the funds available to do what other franchises are. How was Wyoming in that sense?
Wyoming, they actually took care of us. They took care of us pretty good. Uh, I mean, the area we was in, Casper, Wyoming, was cold, but they took good care of us. I mean, a lot of teams in the IFL do take care of you. There is some teams, the struggle. I've been through teams where I've been through a couple different owners. We didn't have places to live. The year that I went to my first championship, we couldn't afford to stay in hotels. We was a traveling team, but we was still, smacking everybody. We knew how good we was, but I mean, these teams that are starting up, sometimes you gotta do your research before you sign, your life away to these guys. Because I mean, indoor football it is a hit or miss. Sometimes when you do your negotiation, make sure you do your research. Make sure, if they got places to live, you get your checks on time. I've been through it all. I know the in and out of the business. Been playing it for 9 seasons, and yeah, man, that's the big, big red flag about indoor arena football is the way they take care of the players.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like you said, you need to do your research with the teams. But from what I've heard, the AWFC is pretty respectable in the way they treat players more often than not. There have been some situations that have been iffy, but that's okay. It's a new league. They're trying to do their best so far. But so far, I mean, it seems like they bring a lot of recognition to players like yourself, which is basically what you all are hoping for at the end of the day.
Right.
Um, so in 2014, with the Calvary, the ownership group ultimately decided to fold. I mean, were you still on the roster at that point?
No, I actually that's where I got traded the last few games. I went to the CIF, played in Salina then, and you know I didn't know about what was going on with the business side in Wyoming, um, but I'm just glad I got out of there on time. And playing in Salina was probably the best decision I made. Salina was a great organization. The ownership was great. Probably one of the best places I've been at as of being taken care of. And I could say that and Tri Cities is probably the two best places I've been where they actually took care of us pretty good.
It's ironic that you say that because my next question was basically going to preface that. I mean, I'm no CIF expert. I mean, I watch a little bit of everything, but when you hear a team keep popping up on guys' resumes that are in like the FCF or the XFL or the USFL, you start to take notice. And Salina, I'm sorry, is one of those teams. And the Liberty is, they have a decorated history of guys making it to a higher level. So, I mean, I could see the draw definitely wanting to go there. Talk to me about what it was like in that organization in particular. I mean, the coaching you received, the mentality all the players had, that sort of stuff.
It just that league in that year, a lot of guys was actually really getting looked at. I had my first NFL look there with Seattle. Seattle noticed me there. Couple guys got noticed from like the Cowboys and overseas teams. You just seen somebody just signed with the CFL with Salina, the quarterback there, and you know their ownership there and just the way that they branch guys out is amazing. Some people doubt the CIF. I did a little bit. Don't get me wrong, I did a little bit, but if you just seen the guys that actually came out, to go to the XFL, the USFL, and all these big leagues came out of that league. Most people think it came from the IFL, but a lot of CIF guys came out, started to play outdoor ball and play in bigger roles, and I've been seeing that lately, and yeah, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to one of my guys in the CFL on Ottawa Red Blacks, Tyree Adams, the guy you were just talking about. There's also Chris Barrett played there for a little while. He's in the FCF. He's trying to make the XFL. Man, I'm blanking the name, but it's another big FCF quarterback. Um, Mitch Kidd.
It's
Mitch
kid.
Kidd. He
Yeah.
played with them for a brief minute. Yeah, basically a lot of big names. But anyway, moving on. Was this right about the time you ended up getting drafted by the MLFB?
2016, yeah. That draft, man, it meant a lot to me because that week actually, uh, my father died the following week when I got drafted, and the first thing he said, "I can't believe my boy got drafted." And I'll never forget that. That's even though the season never progressed, just being drafted, just your parents seeing you being drafted was probably a proud moment in my life. Even though I didn't get drafted in the NFL or the CFL, but just saying that you got drafted is pretty big accomplishment.
That's amazing, man. I mean, let's be real. The vast majority of the world never got drafted by the NFL. So, I mean, to be fair, any getting drafted by any one of these leagues is an honor. Let's be real. I mean, so I believe it, and that's such a cool story. I'm sorry for your loss, but I mean, being able to share that moment with him before he passed must have been a great
It was,
bonding experience.
yes.
So was this when you ended up with the Tri-City Fever? Basically the same time when you get drafted?
Yeah, it was the same year. Coach Shaq, he invited me up for that. He seen me play with Wyoming. I always wanted to play in Tri Cities because when I played against these guys, man, I will never forget. This is the reason why I really came to Tri Cities was the fans. The fans of Tri Cities was nuts. So like I didn't know there was even a team in my backyard. Like that's where I was just like, man, the ninth man, the crowd, the cowbells, just everything. It was just crazy. I remember Keith on Flemings, man, Keith, my boy. Uh, he scored 3 TDs on us, easy TDs. And I'll keep looking at this guy every day. He's on my team, and I still remember him scoring 3 touchdowns on us. And they love that man. I remember Zeus that year. I remember all the guys are on my team right now. I remember them. They're dogging me, dogging my team. And but I was just so amazed by everything, by the team, by the fans, everything. I knew for a fact I wanted to play there. And Coach Shaq, he signed me, and I was actually happy to be there. Even though I wasn't there for a while, I got hurt, shoulder injury. I was out for a season, and then they signed me back the following year. It was weird.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, how long did you end up playing with the Fever?
I was only there for probably like half the season. They traded me, uh, and I got hurt again. You know, just injuries was a big toll on me, especially in the IFL. I'm just glad they didn't completely cut me, every time, because I was a big resource for their team. But just being here and just saying that you was playing for the Fever, playing with Houston Willard, Keaton Flemings, and guys like that. It was just a blessing saying that I got to play with guys like that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So talk to me about being traded. You've been traded twice, like you just said. Um, is it one of those things where you feel bad because one team didn't want you, or do you feel good because the other team wanted to acquire you?
Uh, both, both, Lloyd, because I knew teams are always looking for a lineman, and that year, a couple times when I got traded, I knew those guys, that needed to, they needed a receiver, or they needed a DB on the team, man. And there was been a whole bunch of trades, trading linemen. If they see a big time lineman or a big time player, they're gonna try to sign him over, you. But I was never upset because I was still in the league. I was still, I was getting traded, but I was still playing. I was still getting my money. I was still getting my check. So uh, I was never discouraged. I was, I was always being me. I was always that guy, though. So.
Gotcha. So at this point in your career, tell me, like, I mean, how do you approach being traded? I mean, are you living out of hotels at this point, or I mean, how does that all work?
And IFL, they have apartments for you. Like
Oh,
they've been, I don't think I've been in a hotel since I was probably here in Tri Cities. We was at the Red Line for a little bit last year, and but in the IFL they actually had apartments for you here in Tri Cities. The Tri Cities Fever, the owner had apartments for the players. Full bathrooms, full kitchens, everything. They paid for our groceries. They made sure we was eating. They made sure that we was doing all right, so we wouldn't have to worry about anything. We wouldn't have to worry about working, or they want us to focus on just football in general. And that's one thing I liked about the IFL.
absolutely, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, I mean, I was not aware of a lot of that, so that's good to hear. So correct me if I'm wrong, but at this point, that's when you end up with Tampico, the Mexican team.
Yes. Oh man, that year that Tampico team was probably the most well built team I probably ever played on. It was just sad that we couldn't really stay together that year because in Mexico, I don't know, there was only one stadium there, and I guess they had like a problem with scheduling because there's one stadium in a Tri-City area, you know that's where their money is, so we couldn't really stay together. So we played one game, um, but just that team alone, man, it was just different. The guys on the team, it was like my first time being around a lot of NFL guys. Kyrie was one of the first guys that I met there, played for New Orleans. You know, he was on my neck, man. Those guys that's always on your neck. they know how to work you. They know how to, get in your head. And he was the one guy that I first met, gave me my first workouts, everything, like how he works out. And I appreciate all of that. And that team was just the most well-built team I ever been on. And I wish that team, still exists, but hey, this business, indoor football, man. Indoor football.
Exactly, exactly. But I did want to ask you, how was the fan base in Mexico? I mean, is football alive and well in Mexico?
And it was crazy, crazy fan base, man. Like just walking around Mexico, knowing that they know that you play football, man. It was amazing, man. That you always have people following you around. Uh, you know, we make sure your phone is charged because I couldn't understand anybody. All I could understand was pick, pick, pick. They always want to take pictures of you, always want autographs, and the fans it was ridiculous, man. I didn't even think they would understand what indoor football was, but they did down there. And hopefully they do more of that internationally too. Um, but that year, I mean, when I played in Mexico City in the championship game, the fans it was crazy. It was just nuts. So that was the best experience I probably had in the championship game.
That's awesome. So, for any players that might be considering the going over the border to Mexico to play football, would you recommend it?
Oh, of course. I already got, a couple guys already. I mean, I asked them, one guy asked Christopher Oakley, the D lineman for our team. He was the first guy I'm actually helping, try to get him, if he wanted to go play overseas, want to go play in Mexico. I'm, yeah, man. He's the first guy. There's a couple other guys I'm trying to help out, but yeah, Mexico is probably a great experience for a lot of guys. Go out there, play, especially these new leagues, this Fam League right now, it's popping right now. I'm trying to get guys to get in there, Right now, my job right now is trying to get these guys to move up into, playing somewhere, you wouldn't think you're going to play at. I didn't think I was going to play in Mexico. Like, when people think I was going to play in Mexico, they thought I was going to play soccer. I'm like, well, I'm not a soccer player, There's football there's indoor football out there, But it's a great experience, man. It'll change your life. It'll change the way you play, and it changed mine. It humbled me a lot.
Okay, so we talked earlier about how they took care of you in other locations. How was it out there?
Oh, it was beautiful, beautiful. I mean, we was by the beach. Beautiful beach down there in Tampico. Uh, the food. I mean, we were eating the same thing every day. You know what I'm saying? But I understand why, because they wanted to keep us healthy. But they fed us, make sure got fed 3 times a day. Uh, the fans actually took care of us a lot too, fed us a lot, always take us on tours and, just keeping us busy. And that's the thing that I liked about it. And, the living area was great. Everything was great about it. They took care of us really well, really well.
That's good to know. I appreciate you answering all those questions. I got a couple guys that have been asking me about it, and I'm like, man, honestly, I know a little bit, but not enough to be like, oh yeah, you should totally go down there right away because they'll take care of you great. But I mean, thank you. So I appreciate that. Um, so we talked a little bit earlier. You ended up playing with the Rio Grande Valley Dorados, I believe they're called.
Yes.
Talk to me about how this organization was run. It seems like there was some chaos going on during that 2019 season.
Man, let's just say that was the most learning tool I ever been through. And I want to give a shout out to one coach. He was probably one of the best coaches I've probably ever been around, Coach Bank, man. He stuck by us through everything, He put his problems to the side and stuck by us, helped us out through everything. We went through a couple different owners, we had to stay in different places and, but we were still working. We were still doing what we need to do to get to that championship regardless. We became a traveling team, traveling, just whooping everybody, putting our foot on their necks because we wanted it. And what was so crazy about that year, the Tampico year, our team split, and all of a sudden we met in the championship. We knew we was going to meet them in the championship, but that year was just it was. I mean, it was hard to explain that year. Like I've been through. When I say I've been through it in indoor football, that year was the year that I went through it. Like couldn't even get a job. Couldn't even, we weren't even our last 3 games. We didn't even get paid for. It was just that. And going through that, it taught us so much. Big up to my homeboys. Jupe, AO, all those guys that stuck by me through all that because I was going through it too, man. I wanted to go home. I wanted to quit, but Coach Spank kept us together. He kept us, kept us working, kept us grinding, and I had my first XFL look at, but I decided to go to the championship game and do my workout with that week that year because I was one of the I didn't want to leave my troops. When we crossed the border, a lot of guys they make actually.
Your microphone's cutting out really bad.
Oh, is it?
Oh, now I can hear you okay.
Yeah. So that year, I mean, we traveled only 15 guys that year.
Okay.
Across the border, and I played a little defense, special teams. I did whatever I can, but we fought through it. And that year, Coach Spank, man, I really appreciate him for keeping us strong that year. And that was a year when I said, indoor football is something different.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I mean, you were talking about it earlier. You guys didn't have a place to live. I mean, you're a traveling team. You didn't even have a home stadium.
No.
From what I heard, they more or less abandoned the lease at their home stadium. They owed some money, so you guys lost equipment in the deal. And I mean, man, that's nuts. I can't imagine trying to go through that and still play, let alone you guys end up in the championship game.
That's crazy. That was crazy, man.
Man.
That's a lot.
No doubt. I mean, I'm glad you shouted out the coach because that would have been a hell of a job to coach that team. Because, I mean, like you said, I'm sure every single player was coming up to him like, Coach, what's going on? Come on. I mean, what we need some information or something, So I can only imagine how difficult of a job that must have been that season.
Right, it was.
So I didn't see anything for 2020. I assume the season was canceled?
No, that was the the year, I didn't play nowhere that year.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the year I didn't play nowhere. That was the pandemic.
Yeah, okay. That's kind of what I figured. I mean, I know a lot of leagues kind of shut down for a while, so I assume that's what was going on.
Yeah.
So at this point, you've already had a really interesting career. You talked about it earlier. You wanted to play in the Tri-City area, so you end up with the Rush in 2021. Consequently, right before they start winning a whole ton of games. Looking back, what do you believe was your most interesting stop you've had prior to this point?
Interesting stop. Ooh. Man. I'll probably say that's a good one. I probably would say Tri-Cities. It was probably interesting to me because it was just the people, the coach, Coach Tate, man. Let me tell you about this guy. He's different. He's the most different coach I ever been around in my whole career. Like, if you talk to him, you'd be like, "What the hell?" But when he talks football to you, he is like a genius. Like, I don't know where it comes from. Like, when he talks to you about like certain plays, why he's doing this, why he's doing that, it's amazing. It's crazy. But you talk to him normally, it's just like not normal. It's like talk to a fifth grader, kind of. But that's what made us different. That's why I said Tri-City is probably the most interesting style because they let us be us here in Tri-Cities. The rest was we want to be different throughout the league. You know, we didn't want to be like the league. We didn't want the league to even like us, you know, because our purpose was to whoop everybody in this league and get up out of here, you know. And we did that 2 years in a row. And just to say, you know, and I keep saying it, I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm just proud to say I got a chance to, you know, put the foundation down here with the rest because I saw the vision when I first got here. I saw Tate's vision. I've seen what Tri City had, you know, especially the fan base. Like I said, the fans is what made Tri Cities, and I really appreciate, you know, the fans here, you know, the organization, the GMs, you know, they work their butts off, uh, get us noticed, and you know, and I think that's probably the just people.
I think your mic's cutting out a little bit again.
Oh,
So basically, I mean, at this point, talk to me about the way you felt. I mean, your last three football seasons, you've been to the championship game and now won. I mean, what do you believe makes you as a person breed winning everywhere you go? I mean, I know I said that about Marco Garcia a couple weeks ago, but it seems like there's a lot of players on this team that seem to find winning organizations.
well, it's my style. I do whatever I can to, you know, help lead the team. You know, I've been a captain, a leader almost every team I've been on. And the thing I've learned is, you know, I put the players first. I put these guys first, and the bond that we had, you know, the bond that, you know, both years that we had, it was amazing. You know, Marco said it before. You know, we had each other's backs from day one. You know, there was a lot of guys on this team. You know, especially this year. I'll have to say, you know, I want to see them step up. You know, I'm a type of person like to see everybody elevate around me. And one guy I was very proud of this year was Manny Flores. Man, that man, if there was a most improved player, it would have been him. He stepped up so big this year. You know, and a core group that doesn't get the respect. I don't think they talked about this core group, and I've been watching this core group. Is our DB core. You know, our DB core is something different, man. If you had that DB core in the IFL, you're definitely going to win the championship. It's just the way that they interact with each other, the way that they compete with each other. It was if you ever just watch them practice, this is crazy. And you know, everything about this team, man, is just it's amazing. And just me alone, just to say that I helped lead, you know, a team to a championship, two championships for one, it's just amazing just to say, you know, I put my problems to the side, everything to the side for these guys. And that's what I'm proud of. That's what I think I helped out with, you know, the championship. Yeah, I did my little blocking here and there, but mostly is, you know, what I did for the players and help the players in this organization is what I'm proud of.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that answer. I mean, you're more concerned about your teammates than you are really even with winning, but winning is a byproduct of the atmosphere you guys are breeding. I
Right.
love it. So a buddy of mine, Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson's checking in. He wanted to say that he's tuning in to watch. He's a guy that I do a morning show with every Friday. So if you haven't caught that, it's way early for you. It'd be like 5:30 in the morning, but we won't expect you to catch that anytime soon. um, so what do you make? I mean, other than the atmosphere, what do you believe makes your team so good? I mean, is it because of the players that you've collected? I mean, is it because of literally just the atmosphere? I mean, it seems like I said, like there's a lot of guys on this team that, like you said, they should be in higher leagues or they've been on winning teams everywhere they've gone. It seems like this roster is just stacked. But what do you think is like the main component of your winning?
It's crazy. I think it's just our attitude, man. It's just the way that we just are, man. It's like the first day of camp, we knew we was gonna run through this league. Like there was no ifs, ands, or buts. It's just the way that we are. It's our attitude, our swagger. You know, it's just the way. It's just it's hard to explain because if you ever just watch us play and we don't care who we're playing against. Like you could put anybody in front of us and we're gonna wreak havoc regardless. I mean, you're gonna know who we are. You're gonna know who the rush is regardless. And that's what I loved about, the squad, from the get-go, we knew we was gonna be 10-0. We knew we was gonna run through this league. We just knew we were gonna embarrass you in front of your fans. Like that's the type of attitude we had. Like it was different. Like I keep saying, we're different, and there's something special about us being different. And big up to our personal, what is it? Our player personnel. Alex. He's the one that put the guys together. The first guy when I saw sign, Rook. When I saw they signed him, I knew for a fact it was a wrap. The type of players that they signed on the squad was amazing. Greg, the defensive player of the year, man, that man, the first day that I picked him up from the hotel, he said, I'm gonna do whatever it takes, play DB linebacker, and you see what happened. He became a defensive player of the year. It's just the way that everybody came into camp knowing what their job was, what they're gonna do was probably what set, us here right now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Um, so many have said your unit is the best offensive line in the league. I mean, I would tend to agree. You guys rolled right over teams. I feel like I know your answer, but would you say that's your opinion as well?
Of course. I mean, our our line, man. Let me tell it's we're weird. We're weird. Like we love each other to death. Our line, man. We do whatever it takes to protect our guys. And Tate, he likes to make fun of us, because we're just the big dogs. We act like we're lazy, but we're still gonna, smack you in the mouth regardless. And that's what I loved about, Adam and Josh, those two guys, man, we was just brothers, we was brothers off the field, brothers on the field, we did whatever we took, to help each other out, and I'm proud to say, I was, part of, the number one offensive line in the league.
That's awesome. So this year you actually won second team all AWFC honors.
I
What
was
does
upset.
that mean to you?
I was a little upset about that, but it's cool. I'm gonna accept it. 2 years in a row being second team. I feel like I deserve better. But I know I got respect from the peers. From the players in the league. I could say that every game I knew I was going against the best of the best. Like I said, my name did hold weight in this league. Everybody knew who the Pancake Chef was. Like every time I'm out there, they know the type of player I am because I'm always find a way to get in your head. Always find a way to do whatever, and every team always put their top dog on me. Big up to Coach Rico from Wenatchee, man. He always put his dogs on me, man. He even said he's gonna put his dogs on me, and I I like that because it shows respect. You put your best player on me, that's how I know you got respect for me. But being second team, yeah, it's cool. I'll accept it. I got it's whatever.
I did not expect that, but hey, I understand. I mean, every player believes they're the best because you have to, right?
That's the first time I've ever been second team in this league. I've been first team in the every other leagues I've been in, but besides this league. But it's all good though. As long as we got the rings, that's all that matters.
No doubt, no doubt. There you go. So talk to me about the Tri-City fan base. I know we've been over it multiple times, but I mean, you're on a team that's only lost 2 games over the past 2 seasons. I mean, talk to me about how intense that atmosphere must have been going into the championship game.
And people hate it. They hate coming to play us because our fans, they're in your face. Like I love our fans. I feed off of it. If you ever see me play like the championship game, I do whatever, for the fans. I even drunk a beer in the middle of the game. I'm always interacting with the fans because I love it because we call it Gotham. We don't like tourists coming in there. And that's how it was. And the fans just made it just so incredible. The fans, especially the kids that come in there, The event coordinator did a good job, getting, everybody involved, the fans involved, just like I said, the fans made pretty much who we are. That's why, nobody ever beat us at home. We lost 2 games away, but nobody still has not beat us at home. And I'm proud to say that, undefeated at home, the fans, they're the ones that make that happen. I could say that. #1 fans in the league.
That's awesome. I'm sure they're going to love to hear that as soon as everybody watches this in the next couple of weeks. So you've played for multiple different leagues across America and even in Mexico. Talk to me about how the AWFC stacks up as a whole.
I knew, like I said, it was a startup league, and they're trying to just make it as pretty much a stepping stool. And I knew what it was. I knew what it was about. But I felt my job was to try to advertise it more. Make it bigger than what it is. I've been, like I said, I've been around indoor football for so long. I know the ins and outs, the business side, hopefully one day, indoor football would be bigger than what it is now, if they separate it from outdoor football, try to make it like an extreme sport type thing, and I try to make it like that in this league, in your face, I'm always talking fan interaction, it's everything, the league it's trying, I could see that, but it's tough when, teams are folding, traveling, it's so much has to go on with, keeping a team in the league, but, we're trying to keep that competitive nature, with Natchez coach Rico, man, he's trying to make it competitive too. That's why I was glad that he actually made it to the championship. His team would have been very competitive in another league. Idaho, of course, they always been, that team. They're the reasons why we want to come in, and show them what's up. Idaho is something, to think about too. But the league itself, it could do a little bit of work, but at the same time, it's still a startup league. It's still something that needs to, improve. But at the same time, I think we did, enough.
Okay.
Who we are.
Okay. So, I mean, you got the floor, man. What are some suggestions for the AWFC going forward to grow?
I mean, just don't let the game soften. I'm a type of person who like to keep the game interesting. Keep the game interesting. It's a fan-based league. It's for the fans, and if you see the way I play, that's the way the game should be. I feel, in your face with the fans. I'm talking crap to these guys, just something just to keep the fans entertained, just, you can't say much. You see other leagues like the IFL and CIF, you see what they're doing, and it's kind of tough to do what they do, when you got to open up your checkbook a little bit. But just hopefully the fans will see what indoor football really is, and once you get the fans to know what indoor football is, I feel like more fans will actually enjoy what indoor football is, and that's what I want to see. I want to see people know what indoor football is.
Gotcha. So what about for me? Any suggestions for what I could cover to help that out?
Just keep doing what you're doing, man. Like I said, we appreciate what you're doing. What you did for Marco. What you're doing for us right now, getting our names out there, is something that we needed. I guess, especially for this league, and especially for individuals that are trying to get their brand out. You're doing the perfect job, especially your insight on everything. Like it's crazy, and we really appreciate what you're doing. Just keep doing what you're doing right now, and I feel like you're going to elevate pretty big here pretty soon.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. And well, if you think of anything, as you know, my DMs are always open. I'm always open to suggestions. I'm really trying to lean into the AWFC over the next month or so, at least. I mean, try and give you guys some extra coverage. I mean, you guys just had your championship game, so I feel like fan interaction is going to be high right now, so it makes perfect sense. And then hopefully next season I'll dive right back in again. I mean, I know it was before the season began, but I did interview Ethan Grabard. He mentioned you earlier. He's like, "Hey, I played against Josh Davis." I was like, "Yep, you probably have played against a lot of the guys I'm gonna be bringing over the next couple of weeks." As you mentioned before, we got Manny Flores coming on. I have Coach Rico coming on at some point. Nakia Brown, Max Novak, and Stefan Lorenz from the Skyhawks as well.
Good group, guys. Good group.
Absolutely. I would love to talk to Coach Tate. So if you speak to him anytime soon, have him shoot me a message.
You're definitely going to get some views on that one if Tate gets on. I can tell you that.
Well, I mean, just from what you said, I mean, he seems like it would be a very interesting conversation. So it would be fun. I would definitely love to do that. And honestly, I would love to talk to your personnel director as well. I'll have to look him up because just the way he's built your guys' team is so interesting. The fact that you guys have gone 19-2 over the past couple seasons, I'm sure that's a collective effort from everybody, the players seeing what he's building, et cetera, et cetera. But still, it's an amazing achievement for the whole organization as a whole. So, I mean, they all deserve recognition.
Exactly.
So I'm going to leave you with one last question, and feel free to pass over it. This might be somewhat controversial to the AWFC fans, but I've heard some rumors that there's the potential that the Tri-City Rush might be looking to move up to another league. Is that some possibilities you've spoken about in the past with other players?
I mean, I've been hearing it too. I mean, a lot of people want to see us actually move up, but better competition. You know, it's like I said, it's up to Tate. You know, he knows it's going to be up in the air. He knows what's up, but you know, I'm not going to put that rumor out there yet. But you know, if they do, it's going to be some trouble in the next league.
Definitely. I agree. I mean, it's going to be hard to stop you guys no matter what league you're in, especially if you carry over most of the roster, which I wouldn't see why you wouldn't, other than the guys that get the opportunities and, you know, even the higher tier leagues above wherever you end up. But I'm interested to see how everything settles out for next season, to see if the Rush are still in the AWFC, if they're still dominating like they have been, how everything goes. And I'll definitely be following you going forward as well.
All right.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, man. It's been a lot of fun talking to you, and I definitely feel like we'll have to stay in touch, and we'll get your clothing brand link so I can throw it up on the website as well.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, I'm still rebuilding that. You know, this year was kind of a slow year. You know, we didn't branch out our brand this year, but it's gonna come out. You know, I'm gonna start doing camps and stuff again for kids, and you know, it's gonna be a lot of fun with the Pancake Chef, man.
Okay, well, whatever you do, man, keep me informed. We'll throw it on the website. We'll push it out however we can on our side. Help promote you as an individual, and like I said, your league as well.
You appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. Have a great night.
You too.
Absolutely.